Welcome back. Today we will be making this willow tree with the free moving branches, and in this video it'll be just the tree. This is part 2. If you caught the first video, we made the frame, and in this one it will just be the tree. Can't wait to show you how to make it, so let's get started. Hello again. This is part 2 of making the willow tree with the branches. Just going to be making the tree inside the frame from the previous video. So this is what you're going to need. You're going to need 2 pieces approximately 6 to 7 inches long of the 20 gauge wire, depending on the size of the frame that you did. And then you're going to need some 28 gauge, the colors that you want to do the tree on hand. It's going to be quite a bit, you know, to make the tree. For the branches, we're going to use, these are 20-inch chains. I have 4 of them, 4 of the silver chains. We're going to be cutting those for the branches. You're going to need nylon pliers, perhaps. I like to always have those. Cutters, needle nose, and flat nose pliers. And I think that's pretty much it. So let's get started. Okay, so for the first step, you need your frame that you made from the previous video. And then you're going to grab one of these little wires, little 6 inches, and you're going to kind of bend it into a circle, not a really tight one, but just kind of a little circle, just to get a shape on it. You're going to turn this over. Oh, and I wanted to show you a little trick, because you want your coils to show pretty. So in this last video, we put this pencil in here to shape the bail. So that kind of lifts the frame up, exposes your coil a little bit. So you get like a prettier show of the coils. And you just smash it down so it wants to stay there. And then on the inside you'll see the rim of your band that we did. Because that's what we're going to hide the tree behind. So you know you want it to be half on your coil and then exposed on the inside. So I already smashed mine around, so I can take that off of there. But that's just a nice way to lift up the frame. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this round piece, turn it over, and we're just going to pop it inside this rim. Now this is just for a measurement, it's not going to stay in there. Oops. Get in there. So it's just sitting in there. I don't have it. It's just, and then from the front you'll see how it just lays just really nice right behind and below the bead. So you're going to come back here and you'll see that it's going to be overlapping by 1 inch. So I'm going to put a little kink in it. I'm going to grab my flat nose pliers and just turn part of it for a little measurement. And then we're not going to jam. You don't want it jammed up so far that it's sticking out your edge here. Just want it to lay inside, because once we wrap it, it'll be a little bit bigger, but it'll hold really nice in there. And then we can tie it to the coil if we want. So, and then we can always minor detail it when it. So you're going to grab it right where you kinked up the other one, and then fold that up. So we got kind of the size of our circle we want. Just fits in there nice. And then you're just going to pull that out. Put like a little flat spot in it. You want it round. That's always ideal. And put it back in there and make sure you didn't make it too small. See, that's a good little fit in there. Pull it back out. Alright. So you're going to take a little weaving wire. We're just going to tie these two ends together. Just going to wrap one side 3 times. Slide that down to the end. And then go around both. Pull them together, side by side though. And go around it 3 times. And if you want, you can tie it down to that one, but I think I'm just going to wrap this little arm here 3 times. So we got a nice little round, and depending on how big your circle is, you could snip this down a bit. We're just going to curl them down like this. And I always just leave the tails on for a little bit, because sometimes if I don't want it to be pulled off of there, I'd rather adjust the size, curl them, and then take them off. I've had them pull off before if I cut them too soon. So we're just going to curl this down. Or if if it slides around, I want to tie it more, I always got little options there. So it's kind of a circle. I smooshed it. Alright. And what's cool about little curls is you could always tighten it up again once you put it back in here and it's too big. But that's a nice little fit in there. Just like that. And we'll fold that down later. But that's a nice little fit. It just sits right inside the ring, and then again, once we start putting the tree on there, it'll make this a little bit big of a perimeter. So it'll catch in there, and then we can always tie it to the coil. So you can just pull that right back out. It's a nice fit. It fits right under the bead. So it just floats there. Okay. Do I want to tie that? I'm pretty good with this. So I'm just gonna pop these off. Maybe I'll go around both once more. Okay. That's the hard part. Just kidding. And then we're going to make some branches. Okay, so you got some options. I've seen some beautiful trees out there. You could tie any tree you want to this rim. You'd start down on one side. It's going to be the trunk down here on one side of these coils and make an absolutely beautiful tree. Or you can make I'm going to make like a willow style tree. And I'm going to do 20 pieces. And then I'm not going to put this much silver in it, but I am going to put 4 pieces of silver. And then I'm going to do this style at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that real well. The light, it's brighter in here than it's showing in the video. You can see this one better. This one only has 4 strands of color, which is what I'm going to go for. Just a couple of highlights of silver. Just to kind of give it some shadowing. So maybe that's how I need to turn it. Okay, we're going to do 20 pieces at 10 inches long. And I notice I have this little solo cup. I don't know if everybody's got one of these, but it's exactly about 10 inches around it. But if you don't have a solo cup, you could use like a piece of cardboard that's 5 inches and then just wrap the cardboard 1, 2. I'm going to do that 20 times, and I'm going to do 4 of them silver and then 16 of them purple. Let me see, I'm going to pause, see if I can show you how. Okay, so I leave it attached and I put that beside me because that's just going to roll off. So the solo cup, you can use a coffee cup too. They're about 10 inches around. So I hold it about here and I just hold it with my thumb and go 1, 2, 3, 4. I slide it and hold it under my thumb. I'm going to do 16 of these. 5, 6. Alright, I did 16 of the purple, and now I'm going to do 4 of the silver. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it just slides off of there. And then where they come together right there, I just cut that. And I have 4. And I measured it, and it was just shy of 10 inches. So even if you don't have a cup and you feel like cutting 20 pieces of this at 10 inches, that works too. I'll just straighten them out. Ooh, well, that kind of curled them. Okay. You don't want to stay straight. Not that that's important. Okay, so what I do is I make 4 piles because I'm going to do a little design. So I got my 4 little piles, and each pile is going to have 5 in it. So I'm going to put 4 purple with that one. 4 purple with that one. And 4. So I'm going to start with this first pile. Stay. Okay. So let's see, what side I start that on. So I grab one of my purples. And I bend it in half across this wire. Like that. And I go around it once. Oops. Grab a second purple and do the same thing. And grab the silver, it's going to go in the middle. Even just one little wrap gives it a little fatness. And you got to do the bottom roots. What? And another purple. And then one more purple. So I'll just show you one, that way we can skip ahead. Okay, so that's 5 with the silver in the middle. But then that adds 10 strands up, so it's going to be a nice fat tree. So I smash them flat so you get the color in the middle, and then I just twist, hold it with my thumb right there, twist, just twist enough to hold them together, that's all, a couple twists. And we're going to do that with each little stack. Do the 2 purples and then 1 silver, or you could just do all solid colors too, or just go crazy and do rainbow colors, that'd be cool. Alright, so we got 1 on there now, and let's come back and then wrap each separate, so they'll each have their own little floating tags. I'll show you, I'll do one at a time, and I'll be back. Okay, so I got all 4, all 4 on there, and it doesn't matter what side you start on there, because sometimes after you finish your tree, you'll flip it over and you'll like that side better. I've had that happen, so it does not really matter. So once you got the 4 together, just gonna bring them together. Give it 1 twist. Oops. I'll keep doing that. And then I pull those 2 out to the side. And, you know, like I said, you could always do your own style tree. But I'm going to go for like a willow tree style. So I'm going to separate these 2 in half. And each bunch should have about 2 or 4 silver, so you could split them so that there's 1 color on each side, but does not even matter. But it's kind of an equal amount. Because and I always turn it clockwise. I give it like a spin or 2, depending on how far you want to be from the edge here, like that. And take this one, divide it in half. approximately. I'm not counting, just going by feel. Twist those. It's easier to twist them if they're separated. Like that. And this center one's fatter. It's gonna divide that one in half. Give that one a twist. This one feels a lot thinner. Just gonna grab a couple pieces back. See how you can start going? And then just gonna divide this one. Give this one another twist. Then this one. You know, like if you ever wonder what kind of tree to make, I look at pictures of trees and then I just kind of copy the branches, you know, because there's so many ways to make trees. But that's a good way to, you know, if you have, you know, if you want a certain style tree. Pinterest is really good for finding trees. I'm on Pinterest too under, I think, Jennifer's Rock Art. If you want to, I'll put the name of it in my description if you want to see some of the stuff I got on there. So we're just going to keep dividing the branches up till we get to the edge here. And see, like this has got more in it than this top one, and I think the heavier branches should be on top. Not that that's just me. And then I'll divide that one in half. And spin that one a bit. Just seems like the right thing to do. And this one. I just slide my, because these can get bent, so I just try to slide my hand between the branches. It's coming together. Split this one. Usually when I get down to 2 wires, I don't split them anymore. I'll put them right on the edge here with 2 wires attached. So that's looking pretty good for that side. Split this one. And then there's like 4. You can just twist them up. They're almost close to the barrier, the border. But when they have 3, I guess you really don't have many options. You gotta do a single. It's starting to come together. This is an excellent start. I'm just getting closer and closer to the border. I like them twisted all the way to the border, even if it's just going to be 2. So, it stops on the edge, twisted, like that. So I'll take 2 at a time, and I'll put it through once I get the branches where I like. My main objective is, if I do 2 at a time, that they're just side by side laying flat when I put them through again. Like that. And to keep your branches from sliding, you just wrap till it stops right there. And then that keeps your branches from moving. And with a double wire, it fills it up quicker. Keeps your branches from sliding down so you can put them where you want them. And you don't have to do this on everyone, but it's nice for spacing. So you keep your branches set where you want them. So I always start at the bottom and work my way up. Because sometimes you'll do 10 times around the wire, sometimes you'll just do 2 or 3. So I'm liking that. Just getting kind of a visual here. Well, what's nice too is you could always, once you get up someplace and you don't like it, you can untwist it and reset it as you go. Okay, so that's a good start. I think I'm gonna do one more. And I'll just leave that attached for now. When you're running them around your wires, if one's longer than the other, it's a little more difficult to run them through. You just cut them at the same length, and then it makes for a nice same distance, and you just push it around. They want to kind of stick together. I don't know if I should film this whole thing. I don't know if everybody's already made trees before. And then if you want to tighten, you just pull that, keep twisting the, let me show you. You just grab this whole thing and just tighten it up. Little micro measurements. Well, I'll do a couple more branches, but you got the idea, just kind of go to the side. And if you feel like you can do more wires at the same time, you can do that too. And you won't have to wrap them at least a couple times through so you don't pull them off. So these ones I'll keep together. I'll make them the same length. Because it's okay if the three come together on the edge. Like that. Sometimes you can put a couple wraps to keep these apart, but when we go to put the willow tree on, I'll show you, you can keep them spaced out using that too. You don't want them sliding together. Okay, so we'll just keep doing that, work our way up. I'll come back when I got more time so this doesn't take forever. I'll see you back when I'm about halfway through. Okay, I got a few more branches on there. Just wanted to check back in. My design got a little smaller as I went out, but that's okay. You know, some designs just go different ways. Like this one's a little fatter, but this one's looking really cute. And this side's cute too, because I like how the silver comes through there a little bit. Well, you have to see when you're done what side you look like. What side you like, Amir? It's gonna be cute. Alright. We'll come back in a little bit. We'll do some more branches. I'll come to about here and check back in. But like I said, you can use little wires to space. And I leave these attached for a little bit because if I want to tighten this, I don't want to pull them off of there. I do my tightening first, and then I cut these off. So I'll check back in just a little bit. Okay, so I finished tying off my wires. It's looking good. And you can move them around, and then you can tighten them up by filling in the gaps with the extra wires to keep your branches where you want them. That's looking really cute. Can't tell which side I like better. But what I'm thinking is, well, and another thing too is we're going to keep this little circle as round as possible. But you can also shape your tree by using some needle nose pliers and then just kind of bending the branches a little bit to shape them. Give them a little extra detail. And that kind of tightens up the wires too a little bit. Kind of spaces them out. Let's see if I can do this without looking. Just give them like little details so you don't have any straight lines. Kind of give it little crinkles here and there. You can bring branches a little closer together. Just little extra details, you know. Kind of use a little more realistic feel. Oops. It's looking pretty cute. And then like some wires that you've only wrapped once or twice won't get pulled off if your long lines are still on there. I think that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. So that's the tree. And the reason I haven't bent this down yet is because we haven't decided what side we like best. Okay, so you can just trim these off close to the edge. We'll use our flat nose to push them down. I like this part. And you get to see it without all these little layers on it. Ooh. That's good. I'll pick up my mess. Okay. And that's looking cute. So you can use your if you can get your flat nose in between the branches, you can use that. And if you can't, just, use anything to push down little ends. The only thing is a little keep behind the border. Kind of grab it. So much so that I didn't want to try to put it in there yet because I think it would. Let's see if it fits in there. So, just want to put it at the angle you want. I'm going to take it back out, but just want to pop it in there. Oh no, it's too big. Just kidding. See these things too, because you know, once you get the tree on there, it does make it a little bigger, but we can curl those a little tighter, so we can adjust the length. See how well it just pops right in there. Looking cute. Next we're going to put the branches on. That's pretty too. And then, you know, once you get the sides, you're like, we're just going to fold those down and tuck them against the back. But let's keep on to the next step. Oops. Okay. Oh, those are pokey. Okay. So on this one, on the other piece of your, it's about 6 inches long. We're definitely going to cut a lot off. We're just going to put a little curl on the end. A little tight curl, just enough to get a little tiny wire through. Like that. So this is when you're going to need your chains. And you're going to need a piece of 28 gauge. You can go with any color in your tree here. It's going to be wrapped around, so depending on what color, I think maybe I'll go with, actually I think I'll do purple. So you want to pull a piece off like about 2 feet long, and you've got to remove it from the bottom because we have to weave it through. So about 2 feet. And we're gonna tie this going backwards. You want your long side over here. I'll be right back. Okay, so you want the long side on this side, and then you're just gonna wrap, maybe with a little bit of a tail, and I'll wrap 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna leave that there. So, well, depending on what side of the tree you like if your tree has it on this side, you're gonna put just a little hook behind the branches, and then you're gonna loop through and tie there. If your little things are on this side, you're gonna put this little hook and tie right into that little hole, just so you lock this on to something. You tie it on to something down here. You could even tie it onto the back of that little branch, because we're going to fold this down. You won't see it very well, just like you don't see it on these ones. So I like this side, so I'm going to tie it to this little branch right in the back. So I'm going to put it through the roots. Just gonna just go right through there so easily. And then through that little hole in the back. What are the odds of that? If I can get it through there, see if I can focus better. Go through the root again. Oh, that went right through. I don't believe it. So that's twice. I might even try again. Looks like there's an opening now. Yeah, that's nice. So that's just tied to the back, right behind the root where you won't see it. And then with your 2 foot, just going to make a couple wraps to tie this little 6-inch piece. Now if we can get it to lay inside of the other wires, that's great. If not, I'm just going to right above it a bit. So I'm going to put like 3 or 4 on there. And I'm not like going right next to the last line, because I'm trying to space it out, just try to get a good grip on it. So I'll probably do 4 in this span, just so it kind of holds it down steady. Then you want to come up to your first branch. So we're going to shape this piece of wire along parallel with the roundness of your tree frame. Basically, I mean, we're going to tie it to it so it'll trace it better as we go, but that's just a nice little start. A nice little hook over here. And we're going to start, just pop open one of these chains. Ooh, shiny. So you're going to have your cutters. You're going to remove it from the last loop. So I'm just going to cut it off the bottom here. I save these because, you know, I say I want to stop. Okay. So to make the branches, depending on the style of your branches and the length that you want, you know, because you could do short branches or you could do long branches. See how they, you know, the ones on the side will be really short here. So you don't want them hanging outside the frame a whole lot. You want to keep it in there. So we're going to do a couple shorties at first, and then as we get higher, they'll get longer. So what I like to do is I take my chain, now that I cut it, and I just kind of hold it behind the tree about where I want the branch to lay. This is kind of hard because it's straight down. So I can see that I'm going to need to go, because I don't want the branches hanging out here. That's just kind of pointless. So I think I'm gonna weave up till I attach my wire to this one. So I'm just gonna grab that a couple more times up. I'm gonna go through the front till I get about 1/4 inch up on the branches. And I'm grabbing both wires. And keep it kind of on the outside of the, don't pull the silver wire into view. You don't want to do that. It's going to be hidden behind here. Okay, I'm going to come right back to where I want it to be. Okay, so I'm starting about 1/4 inch up in the back. And we can remove this little extra tag. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, so with your chain, you're going to want to measure the fall of the branch. I'm just gonna get an eye for where to lay. I'm thinking like a 1/4 inch. So just a tiny bit. And then you're gonna slide that through where you marked it. Put that on there first before you cut it. And what you want is just one little loop on top. Sometimes it'll like double up. You don't want to double it up. And then you take your cutters. So your branches will be nice and thick. You want to cut it the same length or shorter. I'm going to go the same length. See what's on there. You know what? That is not supposed to happen. But it happens. Since it was the same length, I'll just get it in the middle. So you want to get to the back. Okay, so again, you just want that one single little wire. Is it going to focus? Yeah, just that one wire on top. And then what you do is you wrap just a silver wire, not around the whole frame. So it kind of locks it in there. It's going to be behind it. So you slid it on there and then you just wrap the silver bar right above it once, just kind of holds it in there. Now it won't fall out. And you just repeat that 200 times. No. So yeah, wrap it once, and then if depending how thick you want your branches, if you want them pretty thick, I just wrapped once and then I added one more and kept going. If you want your branches thinner, you could wrap a couple times around that silver bar and space out your branches if you want it thinner. So I measure each one because too, like they fall differently. Like in a willow tree, it's not just like a flat cut, so you can create like start low and then make your branches go different lengths on each side. So you can come up high and kind of drizzle them and then come down low. And depending on where your branches are, you might want to do a different style. This one's a little longer. And you know what too, if you make them too long, you can go back and trim them to where you like. So if you want a shorter or longer. Yeah, I did that. This one was full of dark, and then it was too dark, so I cut it out and had just some of the lighter colors in there. So let's do a couple more so you get an idea. So this one I just measure how that one's falling and where my wire ends. So you see your wire right there, that's where the length's going to be. So I'm thinking just a little more. A 1/4 inch. And then put that through the little hole right there. See how that didn't work? Oh boy. This camera shot is what's going on. I never usually have this much trouble. I think the end of this wire is bent. Okay, so once you get it on the wire, use your wire cutters, and you can cut it a little longer, shorter. And it looks like it's taking me time because I'm trying to work on another camera as well. So remember, just till you have that, make sure you just got that one little wire on there. And what I do, and then I wrap this, of course. Once you get 5 of them on there, then you go around the frame once just to lock it in. And I don't go around the whole thing because you'll be all, it gets fat around there. So that's 2. And then, well, I should do a few more. And then every 5 that you add, then you go around just to make sure that you lock your silver to the actual tree frame. So I'll show you another one. And they're going to get longer as you get up here. You know, branches are going to be hanging down long behind it. Right? So this is just, you know, if you pre-cut them, you can end up wasting a lot of chain, and you'll end up using a lot of necklaces. You know, and I've never used all 4, but I've used 3.5. Oops. I should cut this end off. See if I can get a smooth ball. And you could just do 1 chain thick, but I just thought the double would make it nice and fat. So just around the wire, lock it in. And then if you feel like it's slipping in front, you can go through the frame, tie that silver one back in place so you don't see it from the front. You just see the chain falling. So I'm gonna go to about here, and then I'll show you a couple longer ones. I'll be right back. I wanted to mention too, because I'm holding it like this at an angle, so when I'm cutting my branches, I'm getting a different perspective. You want to hold the tree straight up and down in front of you when you go to measure your little branches, because if you go like this and cut them, and then you go to stand it straight up, then you got, you know, a lot of extra chain hanging out of here. It's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, a little note that if when you go to measure it, so you hold your wire, because that's going to be your measuring point. And since, you know, it really is kind of the underside of the curve, it's just going to hang really almost on top of each other right there. So you don't need to put a bunch of long ones right there till you start getting up over here. So I measure it in the front to the chain length. It goes behind, but good way to measure. Just make sure when you measure, you're holding it straight up and down. You're not measuring like this, because I've done that. Now up, straight up and down, and then measure your branches. But it's already looking cute with just these short amount on there. Alright, we'll keep going. I'll come back when I'm about to the top. And I did that in just a couple minutes. Now it looks good in the back. Just grabbing it like every 5, just keeping it behind the bar. And it doesn't tend to get tangled, it just falls right back through. It's pretty cool because they're so short. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, I've used 2 necklaces so far, and I'm this far in. And I want to do just a couple with you, just to show you how I do it. I'm down to like this is the second necklace that I'm down to like this short one. So, and I think even my little wire is getting short, but that's okay. You just tie on another one and onto the silver part. And then the back is looking really good. So, so you just got those little single wires through the top. And then about every 5, I just wrap through the frame. And I got some different lengths going on. And it's not easy to do when you have to lay it flat because you can't really. But when your chain's short like this and you can't double it, just put a, so it's short on one side. It doesn't have to be exact length on both sides, It can be short on one. Trying to look through the camera, it is not easy to see. So I just hold it down like that. Slip. Tight on there. And I'm going to open up my third necklace. So that's about right. I'm in the half, or I can use 4 of them. Alright. Well, I hope it's not so difficult. And I timed it. It only took me 20 minutes to get halfway through, so it's not too bad. And I wasn't like hustling or nothing. Just taking my time, getting different measurements. Alright, so I'll check back when I'm like about a quarter through. Be back. Okay, I'm still on my third chain, but I'm about at the end of it. So I thought I'd just make a couple with you. And my little line's getting short too. It's getting dark here, and there's this big moth hitting the windows, if you hear that. Kind of cool. It's a big moth. So it's coming together, it's really pretty. I'm going to use it on my 4th. It's going to start my 4th necklace. Well, I should have cut 3 feet of weaving wire, but that's okay. You just wrap it 3 times and start a new line. Okay, I'm going to open up the 4th one. I have all these little pieces of silver chain that like little snowflakes that I'm laying on my tray from cutting the necklaces. Oh, that's getting short. It's really satisfying to see it when it's done too. Feels really super soft. It's cool. If you guys make this, I'd love to see the creations because there's, you know, so many color options and stuff. I'll share some pictures of the other ones I made. I have a purple and green one that turned out really pretty. And a green and silver one. It's a good thing they don't make green chains. I'd probably be, well, I think they probably do. Oh, that flipped right off of there. Remember, every 5 that you put on, you want to grab your main frame. Keep a pin to that. Since I just did that, probably, see, did I? After I pin it to the main frame, I'll go back, wrap the silver one a couple times, push that down so it's close to the next branch. 1 or 2 will work. I cut off another foot or so, should be plenty. And then go back to measuring. So now we're coming down on this other side, so you're going to make sure that they're not hanging outside the frame. And slide it down to your and tie this one to the frame since it's a new start. You want to be real close to where this wire is. You want to go under right there, so there's no big gap in your chain, your branches. And then just keep going. You're probably going to want to stop about, a quarter inch from your bottom branch, so it doesn't hang outside the frame. So probably going to stop like right about here. A couple shorties on there. Alright, I'll meet you back right here. Okay, so I just put my last branch on, and I wanted to show you how to tie it off. So you're going to go wrap it through the frame. And then around that silver wire 3 or 4 times. And then I just cut it. I just snip it off right there. As long as I got a good couple wraps on it and it's tied to the bar, I mean, why not? It's not like you'll see that back there. And if you want, you can go around it again, tie it, secure it to the frame again, come through. Pinning it down really good. It's looking so good. So cute. And it's all tied right behind the tree. So when you go to put it in the frame, you want to make sure that all your little hairs are not over the top of this, because you don't want to get them pinned in there. Just brush them off your tree. And get your frame. And line up the trunk the way you like. And hope it fits. It'll fit, you just gotta push it in there. Just be careful you don't push your chains up between the frame. Look at that, look how crooked I got that. Alright, I'm gonna try again. This is how I was looking through the... Okay. We should put the top half in first. Just wiggle it around. Try to keep your chains inside the willow. Just kind of push it up in there. And if it's, pushed together, pinned really hard together, you can curl those up. And you can see how I've curled it, so it's got a little extra. I'm just going to snip off that a little bit without cutting anything else. Ooh, forgot to hold that one down. And then just curl it a little more tighter. So just kind of snug it in there so it's nice. And before you, because the ones that I keep for me, I don't tend to tie them to the coil because they're really in here pretty good, I mean, it takes some effort to pull it out, but if you're making it for somebody else, you might want to tie it into the coil. And you'll do the same way you did the band. You'll just grab a couple ties and slip them through between the frame. That looks super cute. I don't think I got any chains caught in there. Looks pretty clean. Feels like it should go in there a little farther. Just keep pushing it around till you get it in there. I could probably make these even smaller. Because they kind of look like they're overlapping. It's pushing that one up a bit. I'll go back and I'll detail that a little bit more. But there it is. Looks so cute. Oh, weeping willow tree. Right. Well, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you do make this, I would love to see it. You can tag me at Jay's Gems. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, and I'll follow you back too if you follow me. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks again. Have a beautiful evening.